Good evening. With it being Wednesday, March 13th, 2024, and it's after 7 p.m., the March 13th meeting will come to order. A public service announcement for tonight's meeting only. Tonight's Conservation Commission meeting will be televised on NACAM, cam.ed, channel Comcast, Channel 6, Verizon, Channel 28. That's for tonight only. Hopefully they're telling the other channels to tune into 6 to get us so we don't lose our ratings. The rating? Oh, it's huge. It's double figures. We're going to
Share it with you, what's going to affect our next negotiation for a raise.
we're going to commence with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes, January 24th and February 14th. If anybody has read and wants to offer a... Do I have any motion? Pardon me?
No,
We
these
have a
guys.
motion to approve the minutes as written.
Which one? Both?
Yeah, both the January 24th and the February 14th, 2024 minutes.
We have a motion and a second?
Second.
Second, motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. The minutes are approved. 2421753, 247 Chickering Road, request to continue to 3/27/24.
Motion continue 242-1753, 247 Chickering Road to 3/27.
A motion and a,
Second.
Put on that tonight.
I can work with all of you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Continued. 2421847, 161 Campbell Road, McCarthy. Request for a certificate of compliance.
So this order issued in August of 2022 governed the construction of an in-law addition with roof, stone drip edge, a paver patio and walkway at the rear of the house within 100 foot to the buffer zone, 100 foot to the bordering vegetated wetland. Also proposed was an addition to the front of the existing garage and a second story on top of the garage. The extension of that, which was going to be outside the 50, and there was also tree maintenance, removal, and pruning to address hazards next to the garage, the new addition, and at the end of the driveway. Construction of the in-law and the tree work is complete, but the garage addition and the rear walkway were eliminated. The patio was constructed. The in-law didn't. The in-law was going to have a bump out for a bulkhead, but they eliminated that. I had approved removal of erosion controls a few months ago, and the site is stable and the wetland markers are installed. I recommend you issue a full and complete certificate of compliance with ongoing conditions, and the COC can just indicate that the garage work and the walkway weren't done, but would need additional filings if they were to pursue that.
No questions.
Brad,
Seems straightforward, no questions.
Marissa? Are there any abutters present for this project? None answer. Ready for a motion?
Motion to approve 242-1847-161 Campbell, approve a certificate of compliance for 242-1847-161 Chickering Road with ongoing conditions as prescribed.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? There's none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is unanimous. NACC number 322, request to withdraw. Does that require a motion? Or,
Yeah, to accept the withdrawal.
okay, so I need a motion to accept the withdrawal of NACC number 322.
Was the hope for them to withdraw without prejudice so they get a refund? Whole project is just.
I had already performed a site visit and did investigation, so.
Oh, so we already
I-
incurred costs.
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, I move that, any questions? No other questions?
No, no questions.
Okay,
So I move that we grant the request to withdraw with prejudice for NACC Small Project 322.
motion and
Second.
a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. It's withdrawn.
Abstain.
Okay.
One abstention. Mayday Maven. Under request for determination applicability, I have 102 Penny Lane.
All righty. You want to come up and sit, and I'll do a presentation, and you can fill in the gaps if they have any questions, okay? All righty. So this project entails installation of one 120-gallon liquid propane tank to feed a 10-kilowatt air-cooled standby generator. 15 feet of 3/4-inch iron pipe will be installed along the foundation to connect the generator to the fuel source. Generator has been installed at the right side of the house and is outside the limits of the 50 that has been field verified by our field inspector. So she did the actual physical measurements in the field to ensure that the generator is outside the 50. So for the propane tank, our field inspector worked with the homeowner and the contractor to try to find a location outside of the 50, but based on all of the safety setbacks and septic system considerations, a location outside the 50 could not be found. So the propane tank is now proposed on the right side of the house, approximately 35 feet from the wetlands at its closest point, and no closer than the existing structure, which is 30 feet from the house. So the applicant has submitted a waiver request. It's in your packets for that. And if there's any questions, the applicant is here this evening.
Okay, thank you. Joe?
I think just for future reference, when they come in asking for one piece of a project, we should need to ask them, what's the entire project like? How do you intend to fuel this?
Fuel it.
And this generator?
Yeah.
Because collectively, it may have been a different outcome.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Yeah, this is more of a comment for you, Amy. The alternatives analysis is basically said that there was no alternative, no other alternative. I think we should go for more than that. I think you should direct the applicants and their agents to, okay, we considered this location, but it wasn't, maybe
Yeah.
map out the different locations
Okay.
that were considered, that were unacceptable, and, maybe a brief reason.
Yeah.
But to just say that there's nothing there, I think is
Yeah.
not consistent with the interests of the waiver request worksheet.
Okay.
So, we went through this with a generator a few months ago, and, we ran into some similar type issues, safety, linear feet of pipe distance away and all that business. So I get it. I think we should do a better job, rather than just say, there was nothing else practicable. Well, what was considered, so.
Yeah. I mean,
That's-
maybe Justine can speak to that a little bit, because I know you worked hard with the applicant on that.
Okay.
Well, Amy, if I may,
Yep.
I think the only thing that, I have no objection to the project, I have no objection to the waiver. The only thing that's missing is the actual analysis in writing, a document that's entitled Alternatives Analysis that can be part of the record.
Okay, so we need to change the waiver form.
Okay, what the waiver
that what
form
you're saying?
provides for what?
It says describe the alternatives that were analyzed, but the problem was, there was just no alternative because of code.
Okay,
So.
I
they-
see what you're saying.
Yeah, so they did say what the alternative, they just said that there were no other alternatives than what's presented. And I think we need more than that
Okay.
when we view these waiver requests.
Okay,
I can say that the septic system was just upgrading to where they put the generator, so it didn't make sense to put it on top of anything that was part of the septic system. And we did try to put it on the existing concrete, but it didn't pass any of the safety setbacks with distance from windows.
Sure.
So
I
that
mean,
made no sense.
I think to put that kind of dialogue in writing is constructive. So,
I see what you're looking at. You're looking at the box on the page.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, well.
I
well,
guess
just-
I've been spoiled by more articulate alternatives analysis.
Okay.
I-
I mean,
I-
the
I have no other
footwork was
questions.
done, it just wasn't written out.
Gotcha, okay.
That's, I mean, I can assure you that the footwork has been done. That's all.
I don't doubt that one bit.
Yeah, okay.
Sean?
I don't have any questions at this time.
Right.
No questions, keep it in.
Marissa?
No questions.
Okay, is there any members of any abutters? No abutters answer.
So I guess the commission should vote on granting the waiver and then closing the hearing and I recommend issuing a -3 with conditions. Alright,
Okay, the first order of business is a motion to either approve or deny the waiver.
I move that we approve the waiver as proposed for the alternatives studied.
Okay. Second, anybody?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous on the waiver. Now we need the rest of the motion.
I move that we issue a -3 determination with the following conditions. Provide 72 hours notice for the installation of the 120-gallon LP tank and piping. Loam and seed the exposed soil and ground disturbance after the installation is complete. And contact the Conservation Department for a post-construction site inspection once the work is complete.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. You're all set.
I'd ask the commission to also vote to close the hearing.
I'm sorry?
I'd ask the commission to vote to close the hearing as well.
Oh, it needs to be closed?
Yep.
I'm sorry. I need
That's
another
okay.
motion. I need another motion.
Motion to close the hearing?
Second.
Motion to close an issue in 21 days. Is that what you're looking for? Is that the language you wanted?
Or just motion to close.
Just closing the hearing.
Close the hearing.
Okay, motion and a second to close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's
Thank
unanimous.
you.
Remember closing an RDA?
You're all set, so I'll
Yeah,
issue that.
I've never,
RDA's not even really hearing.
yes,
We conduct
that was
during the
actually a
hearing process.
curveball right there.
So that, we don't need to close that.
We really
We've been
don't.
doing it right for a long time.
So the
first time ever.
discussion is, because it was an RDA, there was actually no need to close it.
It's a hearing. It's a public hearing, so you have to close it.
I don't, the reason I'm
Yes.
confused, I don't remember the last time I closed an RDA.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I,
my recommendations always say to close the
harmless.
hearing and issue a -3. Not
yeah.
a big deal, but
okay, we'll move on. 575 Osgood Street in Edgewood Retirement Community.
you guys can come on up. Alrighty. Alrighty. So this project entails installing a top 1.5-inch overlay course of asphalt on selected sections of the sidewalks within the campus of Edgewood Retirement Community, all within the same footprint, and no expansion is proposed. At connection points at driveway crossings, they will saw cut and remove the asphalt and repave these areas so as to create a flush condition between the new pavement and the existing pavement to remain. They are proposing to install erosion controls in areas where work are adjacent to the wetlands, and that's essentially really one area. And I have requested that the consultant provide a waiver request that's included in your packet. And silt sacks will be installed in adjacent catch basins. Project representatives are here this evening if you have questions for them. So you have the same comment about the alternatives analysis?
Well, I understand
little more
this one.
no-brainer.
Yeah, this is a lot more straightforward.
In kind, in place.
Yeah.
Minimal.
It's hard to move the sidewalks.
Are you seeing the wetland line on this?
I was gonna- So,
Just move it right on the plan.
are we ready to go around for questions?
Go ahead, yes.
Yeah, so, this falls a little short of a typical filing in that there's no wetland line shown, so we're really just, but it's in place. Now, what I remember, unfortunately, is the great difficulty that this project went through when they first engineered it, first built it, way before you were here, and all the complications they had along this path with unstable ground. Maybe why the sidewalk might need to be rebuilt or resurfaced. So is this handwork, or is this gonna be machine work, that they're gonna be, putting heavy equipment onto this, or
It'll be just a sidewalk machine, Joe.
just a
That's the
small,
smaller, yeah, the
tracked machine, so it's
Yep.
gonna spread the loads out?
little- Correct. And then there'll be a roller.
Do it during dry weather, dry season, because I'll tell you, this whole area,
Yep.
you put anything of any weight into it, it was a quagmire out there.
Yep,
And that's what I'm remembering. So as long as you're staying within the footprint,
We're staying within the footprint,
and there's no earthwork, there's no additional gravel going in, it's
Nope.
just topping.
just topping.
Do it that way, you should be okay. I'm all set.
Yeah, I have no questions for this.
No questions?
Ed, when we're doing crossings of the roads, are we maintaining ADA access, 2% cross slope and 5% running slope through this area, or?
That's the plan, yes. It's,
Okay.
Yep. It's at the driveway entrances to the garages. That's what that's referring to. Yep.
Okay, no other questions.
Chris?
yeah, I'm all set. I don't have any questions.
Any abutters want to be heard? No abutters answer. So if I have it right, we're looking for a motion to close an issue.
And the waiver. Waiver request.
Want to do the waiver? I stand corrected.
Yeah.
We need a motion on the waiver.
Waiver, yeah.
I move that we grant the waiver request as proposed.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. Waiver is passed.
Motion to close the meeting?
Now, we have to do,
Second.
So Brad moved to close.
Sean second.
seconded.
So I have a motion to close an issue. Any instructions or just?
Is it just discussion, is that the right order? Do we do the -3 before the closing, or do we close before -3?
So
no,
what
we
I'm
can
gonna,
have a decision after we close the hearing,
We
just
can
like we're
close.
doing, yeah, we
Close
can close
and then-
first.
Close the evidence.
I think it's,
Follow that
I
path
think
we
it's
traveled.
all the same, we're not gonna rewrite the book here. We can close and issue the instructions at the same time.
We can.
That's what I would ask you to do. Make it simple.
Makes no difference. So
Thank
we
you.
closed it. Motion was made, second. we should
Motion was
vote.
made to close an issue.
So I say yes.
Are we issuing a -3? Is that what we're doing?
Well, that's the second piece. Did we-
Well,
we didn't finish the first
he's
one.
gonna do it all in one.
That's the way it should be.
Okay, let's do it all in one. So if it's -3, the only condition I would add, I would probably change one of yours, the excavated asphalt should be, which simply should be that all material, residual material from this project should be taken off site for proper disposal. Don't limit it to just asphalt, whatever
Okay.
else comes out of it.
Okay. So pre-construction, to set up erosion controls with me, or that I inspect that. All residual materials off-site to a proper disposal area, and then post-construction meeting with the Conservation Department to approve, to inspect stabilized conditions and approve removal of erosion controls.
So that's your motion, Joe?
Actually, listen, so the pre-construction meeting, I wanted to be clear that I think part of that meeting is you're evaluating the ground condition, that
Okay,
it's not saturated.
okay,
And again, they wouldn't want to do that anyway, but I want to make that part of what you're talking about.
Okay.
that pre-con.
all right. Okay.
And then everything else is fine.
Second.
Okay, on the motion as amended, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks.
Modification request, 2421766, 1600 Osgood Street.
The project engineer will be here shortly, so maybe we can skip.
We will table this. We'll table 2421766. We will go to notice of intent. 2421869, 674 Turnpike Street, Yamin.
Okay.
Good evening. Santa Joy, this is Mohammed Yamin. I'm the design engineer on the site here for a new septic system.
Okay, give us a second. Let Amy present it, and then we'll go to you if
So-
we need any, if we have any questions for you.
So this has been continued, and it is a septic system upgrade. And currently, the property has a cesspool that's very proximal to the wetland. We had been waiting for Board of Health review approval, as well as the removal of the bird coop. We have both of those done, and the plan is stamped by both Seth as the registered sanitarian and professional land surveyor. So we've got those two things all set. We have a stockpile area called out and a dewatering area and BMP specified. Board of Health has approved. Your packet includes their approval letter. And I think that's it. There is a concrete slab. Our aerial research shows at the north of the building that has a shed on it. That concrete slab has been visible since the early 90s, and probably before that. The former administrator approved the installation of a shed on top of that concrete pad. So I think that was, she
Spoken
probably
for.
found the same thing that I did, so, and just allowed it to stay, so.
Okay. Joseph?
Sure, I'm clear. The shed is different than the coop.
Yes,
And so the
right.
shed,
The
all right.
coop was more recent, like in
Okay.
2020 or whatever. Yep.
And then really all
It's
we're waiting
gone.
is for Board of Health to complete, to close the loop on their part, right?
Yes.
Other than that, okay, I'm
And
all
they're
set.
Yep.
Yeah, my only question is about the Board of Health progress too. Are they haven't approved the final
They
design?
have.
They have?
Yeah,
I have no questions.
yeah, we have
so-
their approval letter.
All right, no more questions.
Sean?
No questions, just a comment. I love your hat, man.
Thanks. And I've got absolutely nothing to add on that, so I'm just here taking up space tonight. you know?
Don't get too many cowboy hats in front of you. No question.
Thank you.
I'm all set, thanks.
Any abutters present to this? And no abutters answer? Amy, your recommendation is?
So close at issue in 21 days, but I have a draft decision ready for you tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous. Closed.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
242-1878 30 Ann Road, request to continue to 4/10/24.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. 242-1884 49 Court Street, continued from 2/28, request 3/27/24.
So moved.
Second.
Comment on that.
Yeah,
We had fines ticking and tolling, and so long as good faith was being shown, still happening?
Yep,
Thank you.
yep. The fines have stopped because they submitted the NOI. They're just getting together with their surveyor to, scheduling for additional survey.
That's how we talked, they basically told us we weren't gonna have anything good at this meeting anyway.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
Also,
Do I have a motion second?
it was.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you all. 242-XXXX 416 Abbott Street.
Oh, God bless you. So the commission received a request for continuance to the March 27th meeting for that.
Motion to continue.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous.
So we can pedal back to the modification, 242-1766.
Oh, they're here?
Yep.
Oh, good, all right. 242-1766 1600 Osgood Street. Request for modification.
All right.
Hey, good evening.
Let's see. This is it. All righty. All right. So this order, issued in February of 2020, governed the redevelopment of the site for an Amazon distribution center. Work is complete, with all that's left is final spot seeding and restoration monitoring. The applicant is asking to modify the stormwater management plan to incorporate regular inspection and cleaning of a large grate in front of a pre-existing 60-inch reinforced concrete pipe culvert and its head wall that receives flow from an intermittent stream and runs under the site. During large, heavy rainstorms, that channel collects natural debris and builds up against the grate and causes overflow over the head wall, down the grassed swale that runs along the driveway aisle, and then eventually into the wet pond downstream. It has caused erosion in the major storms, and the applicant wanted to add that as a routine part of their O&M plan. Frank Holmes with Langen is here this evening, if you have questions for him.
Let's find out.
And that's it.
Yeah, thank you, that's exactly what we were looking for. There was an earlier thought floated around that was probably unacceptable to everybody. This solves it, it gives you the permission to do it. What I want to make sure is we're not giving too much permission. So we talk about after every major rain event inspection and clean it out, and then regardless of any major rain event, to also clean it out and inspect it on a periodic basis.
Correct.
By hand, no equipment in the resource area. Is that the expectation? Because if it requires any mechanical equipment, we want you guys to come back and ask, permission to do that under whatever situation requires that. But, the regular inspections, the regular maintenance and cleaning is by hand.
That's fine. I think
Okay.
that's acceptable. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm all set.
Yeah. And if there were a case where more than that's needed, I guess we would contact Amy, or the
So if we-
operators would contact Amy.
So just, this is going to be inserted into the O&M plan. I want to make sure that language gets modified to include, by hand,
Okay,
okay?
all right,
But then they don't need to come back for that.
Okay,
I'm satisfied that
just-
they're going to do that.
okay.
Looks like it makes total sense to me. No questions.
No questions?
No question.
Is it just the upstream side that's being included in the monitoring? Is the downstream already included?
Yeah,
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Yep, yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Any abutters? No abutters answer? We appear to be ready for a motion.
Move that we grant the modification request for 242-1766, 1600 Osgood Street.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
With-
Sorry.
With the caveat,
As modified and amended, as amended.
As amended.
as in, okay.
As amended. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous.
Great.
You're all set.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, appreciate it.
Enforcement orders?
Yeah.
Uh,
So 49 Court Street can just be continued along with the NOI
So
to the
moved.
27th.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is unanimous. 163 Farnham Street?
All righty. Thanks.
You can pull a chair up if you want, or you can stand at the podium, whatever you want to do.
All righty. So, earlier, roughly a month ago or so, we received a complaint from a neighbor in the vicinity that there was a lot of work going on at 163 Farnham, and there was a lot of sediment that was leaving the site. The field inspector and I conducted a site visit, and we found that the property itself is outside of buffer zones, but there is a town-owned property at the corner of Gilman and Farnham that does contain a wetland. So we performed measurements and found that the work on the site was just outside the buffer, but sediment was leaving the property. So basically, the project entailed, at the back of the house, and I pulled up this mass mapper with topo to show that there's quite a steep slope at the back of the house. They were experiencing flooding during major rain events, and the runoff was just sheeting into the house. So what they did was cut back that slope to level off the backyard and use boulders to retain the new TOA slope, and create a swale on top of that boulder retaining wall to shed water on either side. There was a lot of sediment, or a lot of fill that was excavated out and then transferred to the front of the property to create a flatter front yard. And so we had all that sediment load ready for the storms to come and wash it down. We issued a violation letter. The contractor responded immediately with installing erosion controls, crushed stone. He did state that he cleaned out the catch basins,
Yes.
and then installed silt sacks.
That was witnessed by Curtis.
Okay, Curtis Johnson's of DPW. Okay. So that's it in a nutshell. We have erosion controls. It's stable at the moment. Justine did a site visit yesterday. Yep. And even with the rain over the weekend, it was
The
a,
erosion had escaped the site, it was,
yeah. So we're back to a stable condition. But I thought it would be good just to everyone get on the same page, and you guys be aware if you're driving by and you see, the site under work. So if you have questions, the homeowner and their contractor are here this evening. And, I think now that the site's buttoned up, it's not jurisdictional anymore, so.
So do you have a recommendation?
Well, I just wanted to give you guys a chance to understand what was going on. If you had any questions, ask. If
Okay.
not, then,
All right,
If there's ever a textbook situation that says this is the process that should be followed, this is it, non-jurisdictional, homeowner doing the right thing, weather not cooperating, resulting in a migration,
Yeah.
bring it to their attention, they do something about it. And if we, the only thing I think I'm not hearing is there any, besides cleaning the catch basins,
Yeah.
is there any, did anything get to the area that's actual resource area
No.
that needs to be cleaned? So we-
No,
everything
actually,
worked.
and Justine and I actually followed the catch basins to their terminal discharge points, and we didn't see anything.
Thank you for the info, and thank you for the good work.
I guess the only thing the remaining concern that I would have is just that swale that they created above that rock retaining wall, just making sure that it's either filled with stones so it's not vulnerable to more erosion that would eventually reach
So
off-site.
when did the work start? Yeah, you're the contractor?
Yes.
All right, sure, good.
You can
Since
state your
we
name
met-
and
I'm
just
sorry.
state, just
My
state
name's
your
Rob
name.
Daigle.
Thanks.
From North Andover. Since we started this job, we did several precautions before this happened. We got astronomical monitoring. We did protect that drainage swale, and we are stoning and putting pipe in that drainage swale. So there is stone at the end of that, catching everything that comes out of there. That's additional to what we had done when we met previously.
Okay, yeah, so I got a picture.
And then also we put noodles around the catch basin and silt sacks inside the catch basin. So we did that. We had previously had some erosion control there, but we had such the amount of rain. It was in time with the moving of the fill forward, so it kind of slipped by, we addressed it.
Excellent. So I think the question I heard asked, I want to make sure, I think I heard you answer it.
Yeah.
Is that, like, intercepting that water coming off the hill
Yeah.
before it gets to the wall?
Yes.
As it moves its way around, does it have an opportunity to dissipate out once everything is stabilized?
Yeah, everything
Before
is-
it migrates across the street
We're
again?
about 250 feet away from the road where that outlets.
And relatively flat once it
And
gets around the
and
back?
it stays on the Soteris property to the road.
On the, if you're facing the house from the street, you're talking about the right side.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. So this is the left side, the picture that you see now.
Yeah, so we protected that with stone. There will be stone and pipe in that drain as well. And that's a little closer to the road. That's about 50 feet, 75 feet from the road.
So then my question is, how long do we expect that to stay in place? And at some point, do we ever want it taken out, or just let it veg over and kind of become part of the feature in the woods?
The erosion control that's on the front slope now will stay there. So it's jute mat with seed in it, hay bales with seed in it, and then the hay bales will actually stay there. And they'll just break them up when it decomposes. Along the edge of the driveway, they'll remove the hay bales once there's some grass established.
So that's what my mind says you should be doing exactly. Do you think that that works as far as,
Yeah,
stabilizing it forever?
Yeah.
Just let it go.
I would just want to make sure that swale is stabilized.
I'm all set.
That's-
Thank you.
That's what I'm,
Yeah, I agree with Joe. I think this project was victim to some severe weather, and, with all good intentions, things went a little bit bad. They took care of it right away, and I applaud the cooperation and concern for wetlands in North Andover.
Sean?
No questions.
Right.
What was the original erosion controls we had out there before?
We had wattles.
straw,
We
straw
had several
wattle,
layers of
but
wattle,
it
but
was-
during construction, we drove on them and they got, blocked, and it was a timing thing.
Okay.
So we did have something, wasn't enough. I'm gonna say it wasn't enough.
Okay. Sounds like we all learned something here, so I'm good to go.
Yes?
So there was no evidence of sediment in the street, it was just the catch basins were cleaned out and then,
well, there was some, yeah, so there was some in the street, and then intercepted by catch basins.
Okay.
So, yep.
that's all.
Hey, so Amy, my question, did you issued a violation notice?
Violation notice.
And that's it, we didn't issue an enforcement order?
Right.
So there's nothing that has to be vacated?
No, I can just write a letter, just recapping tonight's discussion and,
Maybe scheduling a follow-up inspection.
yeah, okay.
But no, we're not gonna issue an enforcement
No.
order, we're just gonna let them.
The majority of the work is done,
Gotcha, yeah.
so it's just the drainage and grade.
I'm just trying to figure out the right way to close it out here, so
So-
that the record's in your favor.
So, the commission could vote to direct me to write a letter encapsulating our discussion this evening, a follow-up site visit with us once finalized conditions have been met, and just to ensure that that swale is properly treated or prepared so that it's not vulnerable to, carrying sediment.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. You're all set.
Thanks for coming in, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Harold Parker State Forest,
Okay.
request for an emergency certification.
Okay. All right. So unfortunately, representatives couldn't make it this evening because it was a little short notice. They didn't expect to be able to be placed on an agenda. But basically, they are asking for an emergency certification to install a pond leveling beaver deceiver device at a culvert that is beyond Gate 2 within the Harold Parker State Forest. And they provided
Is that on the way to the headquarters?
maps of where it is,
Just beyond.
schematics of what the device is, the elements of the device and how it would be installed. And Beaver Solutions out of Southampton will be doing the work. Mike Callahan is a well-known to this commission for his work, and so I did do a site visit this morning, and they have wire in front of the culvert, which is, obviously always consistently blocked up by the beavers. And so they have two mounds on either side, so they just keep clearing it. But it wouldn't take much to overwhelm and just wash out that stone roadway, so.
So they can't use the word beaver deceiver because it's a proprietary product.
Yeah.
They are putting a beaver deterrent and bypass
Okay.
flow device in.
Okay.
And there's another company that actually does them now, so it's the other company who has the patent on beaver deceiver.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
This guy probably did.
So I think the emergency came out of the state agency, so it is an emergency. The
Yeah.
outcome would be if it were left unattended, it would overtop the roadway.
Yep.
So, that's clearly, I think we need to determine that it is an emergency, and then as such, issue certification to allow that work to move forward. Are they able to do that in 30 days? The answer is
Oh,
yes. Yeah. I'm all set.
Need
Yeah, I'm all set too. It looks like a lot to do, but he's the expert, so
Yeah.
I hope it works.
Let me say that I know these guys personally. They installed a beaver flow check device on my farm more than 15 years ago. It works perfectly. They do good follow-up. They know what they're doing. I'm very much in favor of the project.
After Al's testimonial, I have no questions.
I have a follow-up question. So I was reading the Integrated Wildlife Control. Are they hiring Beaver Solutions? Or is it because Beaver Solutions is that other company that I was referring to.
They're a
Right.
private company.
That's the one, they do most of the work in New England.
If you want it to work, you hire these guys.
But there's a letter up front that,
Yeah, so I think Integrated Wildlife Control is working for DCR, probably doing an evaluation.
And
And
they're
they don't
subbing it-
actually do this installation,
okay,
so they're
so it is
contracted.
in fact the exact same device we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, I'm all set still.
So we can call it the
Yeah.
beaver deceiver? We're all good?
No.
Trademark stuff?
No, he can't call it.
Fence
This is the
and
guy who
pipe
can't
flow
call it.
device.
No, he's very forthright about it. He
It's a
doesn't-
Beaver Solution
It's
pipe
a-
flow device.
Very good.
Fence and pipe flow device.
That's what it is. And that is what it is.
I know, I'll correct myself moving forward.
That's a good question.
I still call it a Beaver Deceiver. Sorry.
Don't get in.
Everybody good? All right, so we need to I need a motion first to consider this an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. And then we need a motion to approve the project.
To issue a emergency certification to allow the work to be undertaken as described.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is unanimous as well.
Great.
All good.
All righty.
I believe, if I have it right, we're at the decision time.
Yes,
It's time to make a decision.
it's probably the fastest. We're going to pay for it, too. Down the line, we are. All righty. So, order of resource area delineation for 1250 Osgood Street, 242-1883. The commission closed the hearing at the last meeting, and I drafted the ORAD decision for your consideration.
Refresh my memory from the very last meeting. This was just to approve the line, right? They were, no
Yep.
work proposed at this time.
Right.
All right.
And they may not have any work at all in our buffer zone. They are going to demolish the building and build a daycare. So I know they submitted a building permit. I haven't really looked into it yet, but I can pull up this.
It says 1,500-gallon tank, so that tells me it's going to be a house. Whatever they put there.
Proposed daycare and medical office building. So, well, I'll review this, and if they need permitting with us, which they might, I'm not sure. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Anyway, so that's that. But I'll look at this closer and I'll advise them if they need to submit an application with the commission. But yes, to answer your question, they are planning to demo the existing building.
But not as part of our filing, it was strictly the
no.
line, strictly the line.
ORAD, right.
Once they know the line, if they propose anything, they come back.
Yep, yep, and
That-
I
that's
made
all I
no
was trying to
flag
get out of that.
changes, so the line that's on this plan is coincident, so.
Anyone know what this is gonna be? Oh. Daycare.
Daycare medical office.
That's what I heard. I heard it's gonna be Chick-fil-A. Great spot for Chick-fil-A.
Ready for motion?
Ready?
Always.
We're ready.
You can do it.
So what's the, we issue is it an ORAD?
An order
Yeah,
of
yeah.
resource area
Yeah, I
delineation.
move that we issue an ORAD as drafted.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. ORAD issued.
Thank you. All right.
I move that we adjourn the hearing.
No.
No?
We have a decision
Yeah,
for
this-
674 Turnpike. Sorry.
Yep.
You were so excited. I think we still can get out of here before 8.
Time is of the essence.
I know. Okay.
Be a close one.
I have a bond of 2,500 or, I don't know.
we're not granting any other permission or any other rights section. Is this this came in as an RDA? No, this came in as an NOI, right?
Yep.
NOI. So on the granting of rights, we want to be clear, we expound upon that, because they're saying they have a construction access area, which is actually in Mass DOT's right-of-way. Mm-hmm. So we are not granting,
Right.
even though it's their access, they're saying it's their access, we're not granting them permission to use that access. They need to obtain that permission for that access from Mass DOT.
Okay.
Should it be denied, no other access is permitted from any other direction, as it's surrounded by wetland.
Yeah. They'd have to go into their driveway and then go over their walkways to get there, probably. Take a sharp right over their walkways in front of the house, probably.
Well, our discussion has been how they're going to build it, it's coming in from that direction.
Right.
So anything deviates from that is going to require a modification, or at least a review at administrative level.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure they've got permission, have
Probably
received
not.
permission from DOT.
Probably
And what made me think of that is, this is also the very stretch of roadway where DOT is coming in with all their improvements. This is going to happen before that, I imagine.
I
Like
would
soon,
imagine.
like real soon.
Yeah, yeah. So you want at least an administrative review of
Well, I think we wanna-
alternative access,
Let me see if I can find the
route.
condition.
is it 26? You're not granting any property rights or exclusive privileges? And I'd add about the Mass DOT
Yeah.
approval?
So in particular, on the record drawings, this is what it should say, in addition to everything else it does say here. In
Yep.
particular, the applicant has shown construction access for the proposed work on property across Mass DOT's right-of-way. Approval of this order condition does not grant unilateral permission for use of property of others, and that the applicant must secure DOT's permission separately.
Okay. Okay.
It is a congested site, obviously. Do we have enough extra erosion control?
Yeah,
What did you,
I got 25.
25 feet?
Maybe we need more. 75 feet extra on hand? I don't know.
Well, yeah, the erosion control line looks to be well over 100 feet long. It's flat though, right? Yeah, it is flat.
Yeah, it's gently sloped. It's
Yeah.
flat, but it's got a gentle slope.
I would just make it 50 and.
50, okay.
yeah. Who knows what they're gonna be doing?
Okay.
I haven't read through the entire septic system plan, but is there a notation in there what they intend to do with the existing cesspool? How are they abandoning it? Just filling it in, they digging it out, walking away from it? That's right up against the 25, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's actually right up against the 25, and it's outside of the erosion controls. Ooh, depending on which plan you look at. Depending on which plan you look at, there's two different pieces of information on two different plans.
No, one's just a blow-up of the same.
No, it isn't. The second plan, the L820 plan number, has the cesspool on the wetland side of the stake straw wattles, and on the bigger blow-up, has it, oh, it does have it on the outside, I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, it is a blow up, but it's also, the cesspool is outside of the protection. So what are they doing to abandon it?
Okay. Well, I'll have to, this is what,
Outside
It's
the
under additional
erosion
notes when it's
control,
come
right?
off.
Yeah, but we're protecting that.
Do we have the full
Fine.
plan?
So long as this works, so these erosion controls
Yeah,
don't do
so.
this.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Shall be pumped,
Just to
removed,
your point.
and the excavation should be
And they
backfilled
are
with clean
the
sand.
same.
any
Yeah,
portion
it just, for some reason I was looking, just the,
You see that?
the lengthness of the
They're
line.
explaining the abandonment under additional notes here.
Yeah,
Oh, excellent.
Fine
The
print.
existing SDS shall be abandoned pursuant to Title V. The existing SDS, which is sewage disposal system, right?
Yep.
Shall be abandoned pursuant to Title V. So,
I believe that means dug up, filled in, compacted, and stabilized,
okay,
which means they need to submit a revised plan that shows erosion controls going around that
okay,
in more detail.
yep,
Now that, we're gonna require reconstruction anyway, right?
yes, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's gonna be one of the first prior to construction requirements.
Because that cesspool's located outside the existing limit, the proposed limit of work,
Yeah,
so that needs to change. Good catch.
okay.
It's right by the wetland too. It's gonna take them into the 25.
Include.
Should we push for an abandoned in place for one in the 25 undisturbed?
What's the distance?
It's right.
It's pretty close to a wetland.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
There's
Pump
two.
down.
Filled-
Pump
filled
out
with-
and just-
Filled with sand.
Filled with sand.
Let me ask the question, a cesspool compared to a septic tank,
That might be float
when it comes to abandoning or
Chamber.
destroying, what's the, I
I
know if it was a
You
septic tank,
take the
you
top
can
off it,
crush
you
it.
pump it out, you pump it out,
Yeah,
you leave your walls intact, you pump it out and clean it.
Yeah.
Leave the walls intact, you fill it with clean sand, compact it, and then leave no top on it. just-
So is that
just
something
compact.
we have to order?
No, it's Title V, but what I'm saying is that all that work is proposed within jurisdiction, right up against the edge of the 25,
Yeah.
and without the erosion controls around it. So they need to revise the plans to show us that.
I think so.
Okay,
I don't want to
And-
lose sight of
and-
the fact that replacing a failed cesspool that close is, no matter
Is a good
what they do
thing.
on this, is a good
It's a
thing.
good thing.
It's a
Yeah.
very
and
good
it's gonna
thing.
be in lawn, it's lawn, so, okay, should I ask for a narrative on a work sequence for that, or is it,
No, just make it a pre-construction. so
Covered
they-
in your pre-construction?
Okay,
Adjust
okay,
the
yeah.
erosion controls to fully encompass that abandonment in the area.
okay. Okay,
If it wasn't distracted by the cowboy hat, I would have asked the question.
okay,
Tex has been here before.
I know.
He's saying I should start wearing those other meetings. I'll go to those.
That was an Oklahoma hat, that wasn't a Texas hat.
I can put on my cowboy hat and throw in the accent a little bit harder.
I thought you were.
I think you should, I think you ought to.
I think one day we should all come in with cowboy
There we
hats.
go.
Motion?
Oh,
any others?
But just a quick question, if all they're doing is pumping it out and then filling it with sand, why do you need erosion controls?
Because it's construction activity within our resource area.
Okay.
And we always have erosion controls around construction activities.
And the pump out is destined to be very liquid.
Yep.
you ever seen a contractor dump out a bunch of sand and hit the exact spot they're going for?
The fact that
As many
it's,
times as I've seen a miss, let's put
and
it
the
that way.
fact that it's balloon is they don't know exactly where the cesspool is or how big it
All
is.
right. So it's not just going to be
We don't know.
Poke a hole, okay.
Could be under the chicken coop.
And the tire tracks don't make any disturbance in the ground either.
Easy, now, easy. Are we good? Anybody want to offer a motion?
Move that we grant the COC for,
No.
Order conditions.
Issuing a decision.
oh, sorry. I move that we grant the order of conditions for 674 Turnpike Street, 242-1869, as drafted and amended.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay.
We have reached the end of the roster.
May I now move to adjourn?
You may.
I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That's unanimous. We stand adjourned.